modules for the high school level. For this month, we're assigned to a new lesson and it's all about the ionic bonding. But before anything else, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell button for notifications. So what is ionic bonding? Ionic bonding, it is the complete transfer of valence electrons between atoms. It is a type of a chemical bond that generates two oppositely charged ions. In ionic bonds, the metal loses electrons to become a positively charged cation, whereas a non-metal accepts those electrons to become a negatively charged anion.
An ionic bond can be formed after two or more atoms lost or gain electrons to form an ion. Ionic bonds occur between metals, losing electrons, and non-metals, gaining electrons. Ions with opposite charges will attract one another, creating an ionic bond. Ion. Ion is a charged atom or molecule. It is charged because the number of electrons do not equal the number of protons in the atom or molecule. Atom. An atom can acquire a positive charge or a negative charge depending on whether the number of electrons in an atom is greater or less than the number of protons in the atom. Bond. A bond is a link between atoms and molecules or compounds and between ions and molecules and crystals. A bond represents a lasting attraction between different atoms, molecules, or ions. Here are some examples of ionic bonds. First is sodium chloride or table salt. An atom of sodium donates one of its electrons to an atom of chlorine in a chemical reaction, and the resulting positive ion and negative ion form a stable ionic compound based on this ionic bond. Second is we have calcium chloride or rock salt. Since there should be sharing of electrons between two atoms to be a covalent bonding, in case of calcium chloride, the calcium gives up an electron to each chlorine atom, becoming Ca2 positive ions and chlorine becomes Cl negative ions. The third one is sodium hydroxide or lye used in soap. In order for these two polyatomic ions to bond, the charges must be equal and opposite. Therefore, it takes one positive sodium ion to balance the one negative hydroxide ion. This will make the formula for sodium hydroxide. The fourth one is sodium fluoride or fluoride in a toothpaste. In this reaction, a sodium atom loses its single valence electron to the fluorine atom, which has just enough space to accept it. The fifth one is iron oxide or rust. The bond formed between iron and oxygen is due to the difference in electronegativity between the two atoms. Since iron is metal and oxygen is non-metal, therefore, the bonding between oxygen and iron is ionic. The sixth one is calcium hydroxide or basic salt and antacid tablets. Molecules of calcium hydroxide are held together via ionic bonds between the calcium ion and two hydroxide ion. Unprotected exposure to this compound can prove dangerous to humans, leading to irritation of the skin and chemical burns. So here are some important key points for our lesson for this month. First, atoms of metals lose their valence electrons. Second, when an atom loses an electron, it produces a positively charged ion or cation. Third, the gain of negatively charged electrons by a neutral atom produces an ion. Fourth, an atom can be an ion, but not all ions are atoms. Fifth, ionic bonding is the complete transfer of valence electron between atoms. And lastly, a bond is ionic if the electronegativity difference between the atoms is great enough that one atom could pull an electron completely away from the other one.